already.
Yes, my lord, just once again, we just want to mention that exhibits MM
Yeah.
as with certain pages that might not be visible. And that exhibit, in fact, goes up to page 11, my lord. And not 9, page...
Okay, page 11.
Yes, up to page 11. And it goes along with exhibits UU1 and 2. Then exhibit NN goes up to page 18. However, pages 17 and 18 already form part of exhibit KK that has already been handed up. And all these are OB entries, my lord, from various police stations.
Okay.
If we can also ask that my colleague Advocate Sibanda be allowed to assist should the need arise, to assist the witness with the exhibits.
I thought you wanted to say something, Mr. Minister.
Yes, requesting indulgence just to address the court on one aspect.
You want to?
I'm requesting for an indulgence just to address the court on one aspect relating to this witness.
Okay.
Yes. My lord, it will be remembered that at the onset of at the inception of the trial within a trial, the state made mention of the fact that there are statements that the state would want to prove in respect of accused number 3, 4, and 5. There was a bit of a request for clarification there as to what is it that the state would want to demonstrate to the court on the content of the said statement that the state says it wants to prove against accused number 3, 4, 5. Then the state said it is just the statement, my lord. Now, on the documents that we have been furnished by the state, which are the statement regarding the interview with the suspect, which is the document that the state intends to prove against accused number 3, 4, and 5, we have noted, my lord, that there's a portion where this witness also participated in that document. To be very specific, he participated as a commissioner of oath. Now, before the court could resume, we took this aspect up with our colleague for the State Advocate Baloyi and wanted to clarify with him as to whether or not would then that be the beginning of a testimony on the aspect of admissibility of the document that we mentioned at the beginning of the trial within a trial as they relate to accused number 3, 4, and 5. The answer that we're getting, my lord, is that this witness will not be testifying about accused number 3, about accused number 4, and about accused number 5. But the challenge that we have, my lord, is his name is included in the statement that we were furnished. On the statement regarding the interview with the suspect, his name is also included there. So I'm not so sure whether the state intends to, because the state specifically indicated that this witness will only testify in respect of accused number 1 and 2. I'm not so sure whether the state is then saying that this witness, for purposes of this trial within the trial as it is happening now, will only concentrate on accused number 1 and 2. And again, within the same trial, within the trial, this witness is going to be recalled to come and say something, if there is anything to be said, in respect of accused number 3, 4, and 5, my lord. That is the clarification that we want to know. And the basis of this clarification, my lord, it's simply that if this witness were to start to say something about accused number 3, 4, and I'm not pleading the case here of accused number 4 and 5 as well, my lord, but we are in the same boat here. But if this witness were to start, as he is being led by the state, to say something in relation to accused number 3, 4, and accused number 5, then we'll go back to the initial argument that we raised at the beginning, my lord, that before a witness starts to testify against accused number 3, 4, and 5, we would want to know exactly, with certainty, as to what is it that the state intends to demonstrate when it leads the evidence relating to the warning statements. In other words, what is it that the state would ultimately want to argue as being the content of the statement that it wants to prove before court, my lord? That is going to enable us to prepare our defense and conduct our defense in line with what the state is going to argue ultimately as to why it actually wants to lead to this information or evidence, my lord. Thank you, my lord.
Yes, Mr. Baloyi.
As you could please, my lord, I have indeed intimated to my colleagues that this witness will be confined to the statements that were made by accused number 1 and 2. Hence, we've been going through the occurrence book entries, and those pertain only to accused 1 and 2. Insofar as the issue is concerned that has been raised by Advocate Nisi, that this witness might have commissioned the warning statement of their clients. Well, firstly, his evidence is not going to touch on that. I've given them that assurance. But secondly, my understanding of their defense during the trial, within the trial, is that their clients did not make any statements. So the commissioning thereof, with the greatest of respect, I don't think is at issue. They're simply saying, they didn't make any statements. So it's then for the state then to show that indeed a statement was made. And we must keep in mind at this stage, my lord, that is only about the voluntariness of the statement and not the contents thereof. So Advocate Sergeant Mokhane's evidence, should we reach that point about the contents, will only be relevant at this stage if the contents of those statements are disputed. But for present purposes, my lord, we're not going to canvass that.
So these are the statements of accused 3, 4, 5?
Yes.
Because the defense of accused Number 3, 4, 5 is that their clients did not make any statements.
Indeed.
But in the same breath, they want to know what is the contents of the statements.
Yes.
Is that what?
Yes. Well,
It's an oxymoron.
It's a two-pronged.
You know what's an oxymoron?
Two-pronged attack on the warning statements, but we are of the view, my lord, that that shouldn't really be an issue at this stage, given their defense.
Mr. Mnisi, what's your response? Because Mr. Baloyi says your defense
Yes, my lord.
is that your clients, 2,
Yes.
3, 4, 5, never made statements.
Yes, my lord.
Never made statements.
Yes, my lord.
Yeah.
That is so, my lord. However, that needs to be contextualized. When we say they did not make any statement, I'm not even so sure whether I'm positioned now to disclose what actually happened. But I think ultimately it will have to come to the court, my lord. When I said that it did not make any statement, it does not mean that there's something that is not contained in this document, my lord. There is something that is contained in this document which it does not bear knowledge of. So on the basis of what is contained in the statement, prima facie, there's a statement that was made, but our defense is it did not make that statement. That is what I meant by saying it did not make a statement, my lord. He bear no knowledge of what is contained in here.
Yeah,
and the
fine, yeah,
state
I hear you.
insists, my lord, that they would want to prove the statement. And I don't think that the state would simply want to prove the statement or the document simply for the sake of it being a document. There is something that is contained in this document that the state would want to demonstrate and bring it to the attention of
Is
this
there any
court.
unlawfulness in that aspect? Because this court, if anything is unlawful
Yes, my lord.
and doesn't comply with the Constitution, I won't allow it.
As it
But I don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't know. All I know is what the state is telling me, that they have a witness who's not going to traverse
Yes, my lord.
the evidence of number 3, 4,
Yes.
5. He's going to testify in respect of the evidence of 1 and 2.
Yes, my lord.
And then Mr. Baloyi says, you, as far as he's concerned, your clients, you have told him, did not make any statements. But he is saying your clients made statements. That's it. So that matter be resolved by the evidence. I told you about officers of court to tell this court one thing and the other thing. I mean, what should I do? He says your clients made statements. You say your clients didn't make statements. How will I know? I don't have them here. Let the evidence be led. If those statements are inadmissible, we'll see. If they are admissible, we'll see. I don't know. I can't prejudge the issue here now. Okay.
That is the reason why, my lord, I am standing and saying that in the document where the state alleges that our client made a statement, the name of this witness features. But the state then says, no, don't worry, this witness will not say anything about your client. So we don't know whether we need to cross-examine this witness or what.
Any witness who testifies here, you have a right to cross-examine him or her. Okay.
As it is the court.
Yes, Mr. Baloyi, let's start.
As the court please, my lord.
Can you say you have sworn the witness in?
Not yet, my
Not
lord.
yet. Please do so.
May it please the court. Ngicela usho amagama akho wonke nesibongo. Asiqale la. Uzokhuluma lopolice.
Spade.
Utlabalela Spade. Kupa ubulele maina akho akamoka le sefana.
Ke nna Vus Omoze Mohani.
O tla ba le bothata ka o tšea tlamo ya go bolela nnete.
Aowa.
No objection to taking the prescribed oath, my lord. Ga e le gore o tla bolela nnete le nnete fela o sena se seng ka ntlha ya nnete e mesala ditso gore modimo a o thuša.
Modimo nthushe.
So sworn, my lord.
Yes.
Is it correct that you are a sergeant in the South African police?
Ke nnete gore o sergeant mo sepodising sa South Africa.
ke nnete.
That is correct. Ukubuza ukuthi uyiqiniso yini ukuthi usayitsheni esipaceni sase South Africa athi yebo kunjalo.
When did you join the South African Police Service?
Uthome neng ho berekela sepodisi sa South Africa?
Ka August 2002 ka di 4.
On the 4th of August 2002.
Can you just briefly set out your career history in the police until now?
O ka re botsa gore o berekile go tloga kae wa di eng mo sepodiseng go fitla go njaje?
Ke joined sepodisa ka 2002 ka ya college.
I joined the police service in 2002 and I went to college. Nga qala esipodiseni ngo 2002 lapho ke engaya khona e-college.
Ka wa wona ka fetsa basic training ka boela stationing ka ba focus.
I then finished my basic training and I went back to the station and I became a detective. We should work at college sengibuyela ngasengibuyela station esikhumulweni samaphoyisa la ngaba khona umpheli.
Which station?
Station
Mekele Juvel police station.
I was in the Uval police station. Ngasebenzela i-Uval police station.
In Johannesburg?
Yeah, in Johannesburg.
Yes, it's in Johannesburg.
Yes.
Yebo kusekhona.
Ome o tloga fa we ka 2004 bankisha Hillbrow tracing unit.
From there, in
Yes.
2004, I was taken to the Hillbrow tracing unit. Kusuka lapho ke ngayiswa e-Hillbrow ngesenzo tracing unit.
Ka ro fetsa fa we ka boela Juvel gape ka ba focus.
And then from there, I went back to Yeovil and as a detective. Kusuka lapho ke ngaphindela e-Yeovil ngayoba umseshi khona.
Yes, which years?
Ngeminyaka efi.
The early 2006.
It was in 2006. Ngonyaka 2006.
Yes.
Then 2007 ka joina Johannesburg vehicle theft unit.
And 2007, I joined the Johannesburg Vehicle Theft Unit. In 2007, ngase ngiqala ngisebenzela iqembu elithiwa i-Johannesburg Vehicle Theft Unit.
Then
Yes.
2010 ka joina provincial taxi violence unit ke mo kopaneng le Colonel Gininda was still a captain there, brigadier.
In 2010,
2010 provincial taxi violence unit.
I joined the Provincial Taxi Violence Unit, which where I met Brigadier Dininza. At the time, he was still a captain. Lapho ke ngo-2010 ngajoina i-Johannesburg Taxi Violence Unit, Provincial Taxi Violence Unit. Ngahlangana ke no Brigadier Gininda. Kodwa ke lapho kwayesokapteni.
Is it correct that Brigadier Gininda is the lead investigator in this matter?
Brigadier Gininda ke na a dirang dinyakišišo yo mogolo a dirang dinyakišišo mo kgetseng.
Ke nnete.
That is correct. Yebo kunjalo. Brigadier Gininda uyena ke umseshi omkhulu kulolu daba.
Yes.
Omega 2012 ka boela gape Johannesburg vehicle theft unit.
In 2012, I went back to the Johannesburg
Johannesburg vehicle theft unit.
Johannesburg Vehicle Theft Unit. Ngo-2012 ngabuyela ke ku-Johannesburg Vehicle Theft Unit.
Yes.
Then 2016 ke joina National Cold Case Unit in Pretoria.
In 2016, I joined the National Cold Case Unit in Pretoria. Ngo-2016, ilanga qala kunisebenzela i-National Cold Case Unit eLayipitori.
And who is the head of that unit?
Kimang omogolo mo.
Le Brigadier Gininda.
It is Brigadier Gininda. Omkhulu ke kuleyo ndawo uBrigadier Gininda uyena umkhuzi walelo qembu.
Yes.
Omme ke le go joina unit e moshomo wa ka ke go collecta di docket go tloga dinageng tsa Afrika Borwa ka moka.
And in my duties within this unit is to collect dockets from all over South Africa.
tše e leng gore di na le molato e le gore o lebane le unit ya rena.
These dockets are those that have cases that we are concerned with.
Yes.
Futhi ke lapho ke mina umsebenzi wami ukuhamba ngifuthatha wonke amadokethe la kwelasemzansi anamacala aqondene nathi.
Now, in total, how many years service do you have?
Kore
In the South African Police Service.
Emikaimo sepodising sa South Africa.
Ke na le ngwaga e masome a mabedi le motšo o tee.
I have 21 years in the South African Police Service. Ngamashumi amabili nanye esiphoyiseni sase South Africa.
Are you part of the investigating team in this matter?
Ulelokulaba ngiyakishishimo khetsinye.
Ke nnete.
That is correct. Yebo ngomunye wabaseshi kulelu daba.
And what do your duties entail in this team?
Mo team me shume ya hokudi.
Ke go ba elefokisi.
It is to be a detective. Yebo umsebenzi wami lana ukuba umphenyi.
Go nyakishisha le ba gononelwa.
And it also to investigate the suspects. Ukushike ngiphenye ke abasola.
Le go tšea di-exhibit le di iša for downloading.
And also to collect exhibits to take them for downloading. Futhi ke nokuthatha ke izinkomba ziyo download.
Mošomo o bohlokwa-hlokwa ko swara gape re šetše re feditše go phenya.
Also, the very important responsibility is to arrest once we're finished with our investigations. Futhi komunye umsebenzi ukuthi ke ngisiyobopha uma sekuwukuthi sesiqedile uphenyo lwethu.
Can you then tell the court in your own words what happened in December of 2019?
Oka uja hore kamanja hore ho diragetseng ka di December 2019.
Brigadier Kininda o ile sa le colonel. O ile a hwetša tshedimošetšo ka case ya go bolawa ka Senzo Meyiwa.
Brigadier Kininda got information about the case of the death of Senzo Meyiwa, but at that time he was still really
Colonel.
He was a colonel at that time. Brigadier Kininda wathola ke ulwazi mayelana nokubulawa kaSenzo Meyiwa kodwa ngaleso sikhathi wayeso colonel.
Yes.
Bjale ke re bereka mmogo a re bitša ra dula fase ra hlahla molato.
And since we're working together, he brought us together and we sat down and discussed this particular case. And ngoba ngisebenza ndawonye wasibiza sahlala phansi sayibheka ke licala le.
Yes.
Go ile wa tšwelela gore o na le bana ba hlano ba tseneng ba ile gore ne ba le.
Yes, so you don't need to go into details. What did you do in December of 2019?
Uskazana la noro bucha fela gore ho diragetseng ka December 2019.
Really re phenya wa tšwela lebitso la Bongani Ntanzi.
And while we're conducting our investigations, a name of
Bongani Ntanzi.
A name of Bongani Ntanzi came up. Ngesisa zake uphenyo lethu kwavela igama lika Bongani Ntanzi.
Yes.
Mme e bona le hlodi e be re botša gore mollo wa amega mo molatong.
And there was an informer who told us that this man is involved in this case.
Yes, information was received regarding Mr. Bongani Ntanzi, is that correct?
Ke nnete ya.
What did you do as a result of that information?
Manje nesane lilela di enka tsebo yo.
a rile ra itšera lwa fase ra e ahlaahlaganya go ntse borena o kry-agala kae o dirile eng.
We sat down and discussed it, and they wanted to know where he could be found and where and what he had done. Sasihlala phansi siyayixoxa le ndaba safuna ukwazi ukuthi wenzeni futhi nokuthi utholakalaphi.
Yes.
o ile a kry-agala gore o ba bereka mining o mongwe kwa western area.
It was then discovered that he worked for a certain mine in Western area. Sasisithola ukuthi usenza kwenye izimayini ese-Western area.
Yes.
o me re ile ra monyakišiša ra se ka kgona mo kry-a.
We tried to look for him. Unfortunately, we could not find him. Samfuna kodwa ke asizange sikwazi ukumthola.
Yes.
o me ra kry-a le gore tlhodi ya rena rono o šetše a thuthile o ile.
Yes, you received information.
Yes.
Did you follow up on the information?
Yes. Ee.
Yes, we did follow up on that information. Saseke silandela lolwazi esalunika.
Yes, and what did you establish?
Lele lapho nje.
le ra hwetša gore mollo a sa šoma ka kwa mining western area o šetša.
Yes. Yes, you followed up the information.
Yes.
What did you find?
Lele lapho nje.
re le kry-a gore wa amega mo.
We discovered that he is involved in that case. Sasithola ukuthi yebo ngempela uyathinteka kulolu daba.
Did you try to trace him?
Lilela nyaka omnyaka.
Ee re menyakile.
Yes, we did look for him. Yebo samfuna.
Yes.
re ile ra kry-a le gore gape ntse re menyaka bjalo go na le melato e le gore be e mo ama ka ntle le o.
And as we were looking for him, we also discovered that there are certain cases which he might be involved in apart from this specific one. Sasithola ukuthi khona eminye amanye amacala atholakala ukuthi ngathi nakhona uyathinteka ngaphandle kwaleli cala.
Yes.
o mmele gona re ile ra nyaka melato eo e ra e fumana.
And then we went to look for those cases and we found them. Sasifuna la amanye ke amacala ethi uyathinteka kuwona sawathola.
Yes.
o me ra hwetša ra lwa fase gape le Brigadier Gininda.
And we went to sit again to discuss with Brigadier Gininda. Sasiphinde lukuyohlala phansi sikhuluma no Brigadier Gininda.
gape le re bereka le Sergeant Mokgola.
And also we work with Sergeant Mokgola. Futhi ke sisebenza no Sergeant Mokgola.
Yes.
ka gore nako ela e be le bjale tloa ka December ra menyaka ge re menyaka re pleketše ka moka.
And from December we looked for him and we looked all over for him. And so ngo-December samfuna kodwa samfuna yonke indawo.
Yes, which year?
Ngangwahofi?
Late 2019 and early 2020.
And kusuka ekugcineni ka-2019 kuyofika ku-2020.
Yes.
o me re ile ra menyaka ra mo hwetša e le gore sorry o Phokeng o dula Phokeng Rustenburg.
We looked for him until we discovered that he stays in Phokeng in Rustenburg. Samfuna saze sathola umkhondo uthi uhlala ePhokeng eRustenburg.
Yes. When did you locate him?
Lele la muhwejane.
ra mo hwetša ka June.
We eventually got him in June.
Of which year?
Kangwahofi
2020.
in 2020. Sagcina simthole ngoJune 2020.
Yes.
o me ka re o ana le melato e mentšhi a megang go yona re fitlha kwa o na le o mogolo gore menyakela ona wa Nongoma
Bona le omogolo.
wa case ya Nongoma.
Oh, molato.
Yeah.
Well, since he had many cases, there was a big case that was from Nongoma that he appeared to be involved in as well. Stems masamfuna sathola nokuthi khona iqanda elikhulu elivela kwaNongoma nalo athintekayo kulona.
Yes.
then wa ba le nngwe gape ya Vosloorus le yona
There was also another case from Vosloorus. It was ukuba nelinye icala lase Vosloorus.
e seng le la Bulawayo o mongwe gape le molato
Not this murder case. Kungelona ke leli cala lokubulala.
Yes.
gomme ra ke ile go ebelele be kana le Sergeant Mabena, the late Sergeant Mabena
I also mentioned that I was with Sergeant Mabena, the late Sergeant Mabena. Sengishilo ukuthi ngangisebenzisana no Sergeant Mabena osesishiyile.
And who is Sergeant Mabena?
Come on, Sergeant Mabena.
Sergeant Mabena ke o bereka lefapeng la crime intelligence mo sepodisi sa Afrika Borwa
Sergeant Mabena used to work in crime intelligence in the South African police. Sergeant Mabena wayesenza nalabo abafuna ke abathungatha ulwazi esiphoyiseni sase South Africa.
When did he pass on?
Wash uyilahla bafana ne?
e go gopola botse ngwaga go feta ka September
If I remember correctly, he passed away in the last year in September. Mangumla kahle wadlula emhlabeni kulonyaka wedlule ngoSeptember
ka kotsi ya motor
in a car accident. Washona ke engozini yemoto.
Yes.
gomme Sergeant Mabena ke ena ba re gobapeletša information
Sergeant Mabena was the one that was collecting information for us. Sergeant Mabena yena wasiqoqela ulwazi.
Yes.
and ke ena gape ba le gore ba šoma le tlhodi tše dintšhe tše di thušitšeng molatong
He was also the one who was working together with the other informants that were helping us in this case. Mina wayesebenza ke nabanye ke abasithungathela ulwazi kuleli daba.
Yes, you mentioned that you were with him, Sergeant Mabena. What happened?
Go diragetseng o le ne bona le yana Sergeant Mabena.
ya gomme ka di 16 tsa June re ile ra fitlha kwa Phokeng
On the 16th of June, we did arrive in Phokeng. On the 16th of June, safike Phokeng.
Which year?
2020
That was in 2020.
Yes.
ka ge tlhodi di bešetse re boditše gore re ka mokra gae Bongani Ntanzi ra gomme ya ile gore bontšha pleke eo
Since the informant had informed us where we would find Bongani Ntanzi, he then directed us to that place.
Yes, we followed up the information. What happened then?
And then what did happen?
so re tsamaya le ena re le lebelediša molato a re bontšha mo Ntanzi a dulang gona gomme ra mmona e le mosegare
We went there during the day, and where we were, he showed us where Ntanzi could be found. Wasisithatha ke sisa la Ntanzi thola khona kwakuyisemini.
Yes.
yale mantšiboana a June 16 2020 ge re ya police station ya Phokeng
On the evening of June 2016, we went to the Phokeng police station. Kusihlwa ke umhla 16 June 2020 sasesiya esikhumulweni sasemaphoyisa sasePhokeng.
Yes.
ke molao gore ge re fitlha dipoleke tše dingwe tshwanetse re fete police station go pele thušo ya maphodisa
It is custom that when I go to a different place, we need to go first to the local police station and ask for assistance. Kuwumthetho ukuthi uma siya kwenye indawo sifika singene esikhumulweni samaphoyisa sicele usizo khona.
Yes.
gomme re le go fitlha gona ra kgopela gore tšwa National Cold Case Investigation a re tsebe poleke ya gabo se ka re ke bošego ebile a re tshepe motho
And then we informed them that we come from the National Cold Case Unit, and we do not know the place and we do not trust anyone. So sesifika kuleyo ndawo sathi sabatshela ukuthi siphuma ku National Cold Case Unit, sabatshela nokuthi asiyazi indawo futhi ke sithembe umuntu.
Yes.
ge gomme bele ba dumela ra kgopela ba re felesetse re ye mo Ntanzi a dulang ga šetse re go bone mosegare
They also agreed to accompany us to where Ntanzi was staying, the place that we had been shown during the day. Asebevuma ukuthi bangasiphelezela siye kule ndawo la uNtanzi ayitholakala khona ke la basube sikhombisile emini.
Yes. Yes.
gomme re le go fitlha kwa ra kokota moruming e re boneng mosegare ya Ntanzi.
On arrival, we knocked at a room which had seen during the day where Ntanzi is supposed to stay. Sasifika sangoza kuleli room gumbi leli asasitshele ukuthi uNtanzi uhlala khona esikhonjisiwe emini.
And you said this was in Phokeng.
Yes, in Phokeng, Rustenburg.
Yebo kwakusephukeng eRustenburg.
Yes.
Gomme o ile a re bulela ra motšhare ke ra maphodisa a bula.
And we informed them that we are the police, and then they opened for us. Samtshela ukuthi samaphoyisa wasivulele.
Yes.
Gomme ra mhwetšana le kgarebe ya gagwe ya Motswana.
And when we got inside, we found him with his Tswana girlfriend. Sasisithola khona-ke ukuthi wayehleli nengcwayi yakhe yomtswana.
Yes.
Ile ka mo jara wa Mkhalabe gape wa amega molato o mongwe wa Longoma mo ba bolaileng motho ebile le sethunya se hwetšagetse.
And we informed him that he is a suspect in the case of murder
Yes.
in Nongoma, where also a gun was found. Sasimtshela ukuthi athinteke ecaleni lawa Nongoma la wabulawa khona umuntu futhi-ke nokuthi isibhamu sesatholakala.
A re bjale be re tšetšana le bo nnete gore ke yena ka ge tlhodi ya rena e re bontšhitša yena.
Since we were already aware that it was him, since our informer had given us information about him, njengoba sasisazi ukuthi uyena ngoba owayesiza ngolwazi wayesesitshelile ukuthi uyena.
Yes.
Ile ka mo jora wa Mkhalabe o tseba ka eng o tseba eng ka molato wa Nongoma na o
And then I asked him what he knows about the Nongoma case. I said, "Ambuzo twazini ngecala la Nongoma."
Yes, you interviewed the suspect. Was he then arrested?
Kamrao le bolelishane le mo la tufatswa o ile a swaro.
e se ke le ka moswara.
Yes, we arrested him. Yebo sasisiamboba.
Yes.
Gomme ya be le gore ke mmalela ditokelo tša gagwe tša go swarwa.
And then informed him of his rights. Ngase ngimtshela ngamalungelo akhe.
mme ka mtšhala di-handcuffs.
And then we handcuffed him. Sasesimfakoza nkosi.
Yes. Which are those rights that you explained to him? Or how did you go about explaining those rights?
Mohlalosetša go swarela malato a Nongoma.
We first told him that we are arresting him regarding the Nongoma case. Sasisamtshela ukuthi cha uboshelwa leli cala la Nongoma.
Gomme o na le tokelo ya go gomola go se ka bolela.
First we told him that he has the right to remain silent. Sasisamtshela ukuthi unelungelo lokuthula.
Yes.
Le gore le sa tlo se bolelang se ka sa šomišiwa kgatlhanong le yena ge tšetše re ya tshekong.
And also that whatever he says could be used against him in a court of law. Kunokuthi ke uma ukuthi khona akushoyo kungasetshenziswa equleni icala lakhe enkantolo.
Le gore a ka humana moemedi yena e kgethela go yena or wa mmušo re tla mo fa e le gore ana yona e le gore a kgwana tšhelete ya go patela.
We also told him that he has the right to legal representation, and if he is unable to afford legal representation, then he has a right to be given a legal representative, a lawyer that is going to be paid for by the state. So siyamtshela ukuthi unelungelo lokuthi abe nommeli kodwa ke uma ukuthi akakwazi ukukhokhela ummeli umbuso ungamnika ummeli ozomsiza awungakhokhela.
Yes.
Gomme Salwa Michia, Ramana Chapela Nera Elena Pretoria North.
When we placed him in our car and then we took him to Pretoria North. So system faga motweni to sana Pretoria North.
Did you merely explain his rights verbally?
Lilela mucha ditokelo tsa ka molomo fela.
E ke mo dira molomo one pa re Phuke.
Yes, when we were in Phukeng, I only told him his rights verbally. Kusho ukuthi ePhukeng ngamtshela ngomlomo alungelo akhe.
Yes, and more or less, what time was it when you arrested him?
Yale limuserele nakoma.
Be le 9 ya boshigo.
It was 9 in the evening. Kwakho 9 wasebusuku.
Yes.
Omera Swelan Rafitale na Pretoria North Police Station.
And then we went with him to the Pretoria North Police Station. So summarize, so figure Pretoria North Police Station.
Rafitale na kabo ma 10, sabro get to 10 or past 10, mara nila around 10.
We arrived at around 10. I'm not sure whether it was before 10 o'clock or just after 10 o'clock, but it was around that time. So
Yes.
Omega fitla ka mofa ditokelo gape ka mongwalo.
And then when we arrived, I then handed him over his rights, his written rights. Mase umasifika lapho ke asenikwa ipheshana eliphethe amalungelo akhe.
Yes, God, please, my Lord, we have not yet received this notice of rights. As soon as we receive it, it will be handed as Exhibit LL1.
SAP 49.
LL1. I'm sorry, my Lord.
49. SAP 49.
Yes. SAP 14A, my Lord.
Yeah,
14A.
yeah, okay.
Yes.
Omegile ka mmalela tsona gape.
Also proceeded to read the rights for him again. Ngase ngimfundela wona kamalungelo akhe futhi.
Ke motsa bana ka Sezulu le Sesotho le Sekgowa ke ngora kwishisha.
And then I used the 3 languages, Zulu, English, and Sesotho. The aim of which was to ensure that he understands. Ngase ngimtshela ngeSizulu nangesilungu nangeSesotho ngenzela ukuthi ke ngibe nesiqiniseko sokuthi uzwisisile ngempela.
Oh, we la kwishisha ansignela tsona di.
He then showed that he understands and he proceeded to sign the document. Awakhombisa ukuthi uyezwa futhi ke waseqhubeka ke uyasign lapha.
Yes.
Umerile ra motswallela ona mo for boshigo bo bue.
We then locked him up on that night. Sasesimvalela ke kulobo busuku khona lapho.
And what is the procedure when someone is placed in the cells?
Manje jale gore go berekwa jang ge motho ba tlo mo tswallela ka diseleng.
Go gona le ertsana police gona le ntwe re ke OB book ke yeah.
When you go into the police station, there is a book called an OB book. Kukhona ke incwadi ekhona ke lapha esikhumuleni samaphoyisa ebizwa ngokuthi OB book.
Yes.
Gona le
What does OB stand for, just for record purposes?
OBAMG.
occurrence book.
It is OB stands for occurrence book. Manje ku OB kumele ukuthi ke ila kubhala khona izinto ezenzekayo esithi phecelezi ngesingisi occurrence book.
Ba ile ba mongwala ka mogare because ga di fihla o ba le polisa le lutsi ka kwa diseleng le ngwala go re tsena le batho le re tswa le bona.
Well, his name was then entered into the occurrence book because there is this policeman whose duty is to record people who are taken in and people who are taken out. Lapho ke wasi igama lakhe lifakwa ke kule occurrence book ngoba khona iphoyisa lihlala lapha emaseleni elibhalayo makukhona umuntu ofakwayo nomuntu okhishwayo.
I just want to show you Exhibit MM. page 1 thereof of Exhibit MM.
And
Can you just identify what is that exhibit? MM?
o ka kgona gore tlhalosetse gore in exhibit MMA ke eng?
Ke entry ke mongwalo ba ngwetseng gore re tlisitse Ntanzi kwa.
In this page, we can see where it was recorded that we had brought Mr. Ntanzi to that facility. Lapha ke kubhalwe la ukuthi saletha ubaba Ntanzi simletha kuleyo ndawo.
Can you place on record the details regarding the day of the week and the date?
Ke kopanele re balelo re e be le tšatši le fela beke le gore le tšatši la bona e be le date e feng.
Does appear on top of the document?
Ka mokgwa e bonagalang go godimo ga lekwana.
Bele ka la bobedi
It was on a Tuesday
ka ngwaga wa 2020
in 2020
June 16.
on the 16th of June. Kwaku lwesibili ngonyaka 2020 ngomhla 16 kuJune.
And what is the relevant entry as well as the time?
Njale sesungwadilwe ngumfaweki ingi linako ya wana.
Una le serial number 467
There is a serial number that starts with 467.
le nako e reng 2242
There's a time also which is 2242.
le entry e ngwetse go in transit or in transit.
Also there's an entry that says in transit.
Yes, can you?
In transit e ra gore es what was re tlisang a se sa police station eo.
In transit is meant to indicate that the person that is being brought there is not intended to be kept at that specific police station. Usho ukuthi ke uma chaza ukuthi in transit uchaza ukuthi lo muntu ke wayengalethwa lapho ukuthi ayogcinwa khona lapho wayedlula nje.
Yes. Can you place the particulars thereof on record?
Yes, go me
Balere ba le tsona gore
ngwetse gore Detective Sergeant Mohani of National Cold Case Unit.
And who's that?
ke mang eno?
Ke nna. Detective Sergeant Mohani.
Kubhalwe lapho ukuthi Detective Sergeant Mohane. It is written here Detective Sergeant Mohane.
Cold Case Unit with one suspect.
Usho ukuthi lo phuma ke cold case unit uhamba ke nomsolo oyedwa.
Lebitso la ka case number ya Nongoma 160 of 10 2018.
With the Nongoma case number
163 of 10 2018.
163 of 10 2018.
Le malungelo la ga a di tokelo tsa ga tsa go swarwa re ditsa SAP 14A ka sekgowa.
Also the right, his legal rights, the SAP 14.
Just read it as it is.
As it is.
No, it's
Oh, yes, okay. SAP 14 512 66 765. Time of arrest 2100 with no injuries. Contact number of Sergeant Mohani.
Yes, you don't need to read that. Yes.
Ifellamo. And then mo fasimo, wangalo detain correctly o mega sign.
Well, underneath it is also written detained correctly and then I signed. Ukuthi lapha ke kuyabhalwa ke imininingwane ukuthi ungene ngayiphi SAP 14 nawo konke lokho kwabhalwa nokuthi akalimalanga waqhubeka kufana nesikhathi sokuthi uboshwe nini kufana nokuthi inamba zalomuntu omlethile ke uSergeant Mugale kanjani wasekuthiwa ke uvalelwe ngokomthetho.
Just for record purposes, can you just explain what is that SAP 14A?
Yini ke kiyini SAP 14A?
SAP 14A ke buka e le gore ba ngwala baswariwa go yona.
SAP 14 is a book in which all the arrested people are recorded in. SAP 14 ke incwadi ke la ekubhalwa khona bonke abantu ababoshiwe.
Yes, but SAP 14A, the number that starts with 512-66765, what is it?
Manje uyale rona le SAP 14A ina leng number e latelang 512-66765. Yale ki nye
Ditokelo tse re mfile go tsona tse bola ke re ona le o right to remain silent ona tsewe di na le nomoro ba bitsa serial number.
Well, it is the serial number of the legal rights where they are recorded. Each time a person is given these legal rights, there is a number that is attached to that, a unique number.
Umele yona ke buka gape ina le di matlakala mantši.
Also, this is a book with many pages. Manje ke lana ke lesikhuluma ngayo ke SAP 14A kusho yila phela khona ke malungelo abasolwa and futhi ke lapho ke kuyabhalwa futhi nale serial number ukuthi lo muntu uyathola maphi amalungelo usho ayekho omunye othola le number yakhe yedwa.
Is that the one that you mentioned that you explain it to him in Sesotho, isiZulu and English?
Kiyona yoro mumleje ka siZulu ka Sesotho le English.
Yona.
That is correct. Yebo kunjalo.
Yes, what happened after that?
What ukuthi raging amra fa we?
Awa vele ra motsolela ba mamogela ra motlogela.
Well, we placed him inside and then he was locked up and they received him and we left him there. Yebo sake samfaya ngaphakathi bamamkela bamvalela sasimsishiya lapha.
Yes.
Kubanga
Home ke tloga mo le ka fonela Brigadier Gininda gore ke krele ntanzi ke le ke motswaletse kwa Pretoria North Police Station.
And after that I phoned Brigadier Gininda to inform him that we had found Ntanzi and that we had locked him up in Pretoria Police Station. Lapho ke sa fonela ukhuluma noNtanzi uBrigadier ngase ngimchazela ukuthi hayi uNtanzi uBrigadier
Gininda.
Ngicela uBrigadier Gininda ukuthi uNtanzi ngimtholile and futhi ke sengimvalele ePretoria Police Station.
Home Brigadier lona re tla re mona go sasa ke ra tšatši le latelago.
Then the Brigadier said, I'm going to see him tomorrow, implying the following day. Wasethi ukuthi uGetin ngine hayi ngizombona kusasa usho wayechaza ukuthi uyombona ngelanga elilandelayo.
Sorry, just to go back to the entry, did you place the time on record?
Wela re botšana go re ibedina kuma?
Ke boletše ke rile ke 22:42.
Yes, the time was 22:42. Yebo isikhathi kwaku 22:42.
Yes.
Home no rile la motlogela gwasa wa ba le tšatši le latelago.
Well, he left him there until the morning of the following day. Samishiya ke lapho kuze kuyofika ilanga elilandelayo ekseni.
Home ka mantšiboana a di 17.
On the evening of the 17th,
Ile ka tlogana le Mabena ra boela Pretoria North.
Mabena and I went back to Pretoria North.
Just place the year on record, 17 June of which year?
17 June 6, 2020. No, sorry, 17 June 2020, sorry.
That was 17th of June 2020. Uthi ngomhla ka 17 June 2020 yena noMabena baphindela ePretoria North.
Yes.
Go be re fitlha kwa ra gopela Ntanzi re gopela go mmona.
And on our arrival there, we requested to see Ntanzi. Masifika lapho sacela ukubona uNtanzi.
Mme rile ra montšha ka kwa reseleng ra misha boardroom.
We took him out of the cell and we took him to the boardroom. Sa siyamkhipha emaseleni samise boardroom.
Wana kwa Pretoria North.
Khona lapha ePretoria North, right there in Pretoria North.
Just a minute.
Sorry.
And what is the procedure when someone is taken out of the cells, like you have done?
Jale, o bereka bjang ha motho a tlo ntshwa ka mo diseding a ishwa go.
Ona ena motho a le in charge ka di-cell. O tlo ngwala ma OB book.
The person that is in charge of the cells is going to make an entry into the OB book. O sebenza emaseleni uzobhala lapha kule ncwadi kuthiwa i-OB book.
And was such an entry made?
And in wile angwala.
Eh.
That is correct. Yebo kunjalo.
My Lord, it's page 3 of Exhibit MM. Can you read the relevant details, day of the week and the date?
Re kopa o re ngwalle mo go badilweng gore o lanshiwa o no e bala ka moka.
Gona le serial number mo ere inora ke bone ga o ile.
At the top there, the date.
Or the date
Ba date ya gona
ke la boraro 2020 kgwedi ya botshelela ya di 17.
it is the 17th of the 6th month of 2020 it was a Wednesday. KwakungoLwesithathu ke kungomhla 17 kuJune futhi ke kungunyaka ka 2020.
Yes, and the relevant entry.
Go ngwetso nako ere 1655.
The time is 1650 is given as 1655. Isikhathi sibhalwe no 1655.
The serial number.
Is it a number?
Number ke bone botse.
I'm unable to see the serial number. It's not very legible because some of it has been chopped off. Angikwazi ukubona serial number ngoba ngathi khona ayibonakali kahle.
Can you just place the serial number on record?
The serial number.
Ere 494.
The serial number is 494.
Nako 1655.
The time is 1655.
Wangwalwa investigation out.
It is written investigation out.
Detective Sergeant Mohani
Detective Sergeant Mokhrane
of National Cold Case Investigation Unit
of the National Cold Case Investigation Unit
with one suspect, Nongoma case, 160 of 10, 2020. No, 2018. I think one of the mistake I would 2018. That's one song only 2018. So only thinking I'm with 2020.
with one suspect of the Nongoma case of 2018.
Maramo with 163 10 2020.
But on the document, it appears that there's an error where someone wrote 2020.
Yes.
Bongani Ntanzi,
Name of Bongani Ntanzi, Ukamalwa Bongani Ntanzi.
cell 64 ke SAP 14 ya bangwa lang ba tshwara go yona. Ke number 64, motshwaro wa number 64 tšatši.
Also, cell 64 is the number of the accused on that day.
Of 6/2020.
Of 6/2020.
Then SAPS 14A isa le ditokelo tšele tša gagwe gape di sepela le yena.
And also they wrote about SAP 14A, which is his rights. His rights are also following him. Stilapo SAP 14A ukhuluma ngamalungelo akhe ukuthi asaqhubeka emlandeni.
Isana le yona nomoro yela gape ya 512666765.
Amalungelo ke asahamba nayo le number ka 512666765. The 512776765 number of the rights is still continuing with him.
51266
512666765.
Ibilo ngwetjore without injuries.
It is also written without injuries. Bhaliwe futhi ukuthi akalimele.
Yes.
Umerele ra jwale yena ram
We'll just read the rest of the information there.
kopa o balele e ka moka tše di searching for
oh no irile correct received ka signa gape
It is written correctly received, and I also signed again. Should you put wamgeleke kahle ngaphinde ngasign la
and ga mo fase gape go na le nomoro engwe re 498 booked back
498.
yeah serial number 498 booked back
Also, there's a number there 498 booked back.
Yes, but can you explain to the court what was the purpose of booking him out? What happened there in the boardroom?
Ga le tlo montšhafa o lebele mentšhetša.
ga gore o na le melato e mentšhi le gore be mo ama
It's because there were many cases which he was involved in. Kushuthi khona amacala amaningi emthinda.
well be re nyaka go mmotšiša botse go bose na gore tla bošego be re sena nako mošego ya go feta
We did not have enough time the previous night, so we wanted to have a good time to understand properly about these cases. Kushuthi ngobusiko babedlule sasingabanga isikhathi esihle kusho ukuthi lapha sasizama ukuba nesikhathi esihle sokuthi sikwazi ukuxoxa naye ngalo.
so ke ile ka mmotša gape ka ditopelo tša gage tša go swariwa
I also again reiterated his rights when arrested. Ngase ngiphinde futhi ngiyamkhumbuza ngamalungelo akhe uma eboshiwe.
gore ge e le gore o a nyaka go bolela o kgetha go gomola ke ditokelo tša gage
And I informed him that he has the right to remain silent. And I said, ngimtshela ukuthi hayi unelungelo lokuthi angakhulumi.
le re sa tlo se bolelang se ka tla sa šomišiwa kgatlhanong le ena ka letšatši la tshelo
I also informed him that whatever he says can be used against him in a court of law. I said, ngimtshela ukuthi akushoyo kungasetshenziswa equleni icala lakhe enkantolo.
e re gore pele ke lebetse go bea pele ke ya kwa Pretoria North gape le Sergeant Mapena mohu Sergeant Mapena ke ile ka botša Brigadier Gininda gore re sa ile bona Ntanzi ra boela gape
There's something I forgot to include, that before we went to the Pretoria North Police Station, we informed Brigadier Gininda that we would be going to see Ntanzi. As khona ngikhohle ukusho ukuthi ngisingakayi ePitoli ngatshela uBrigadier Gininda ukuthi sisanga sePitoli kuyobona Ntanzi.
lebaka la gore mmotša gore ke mookamedi wa unity o swantse a tsebe ntho e leng gore e dirang
The reason for telling him is because he is a unit commander and he must be informed of everything that is happening. Enhloso ke ukuthi simtshele ukuthi uyena umkhuzi wale liqembu leli kufanele konke okwenziwayo atshelwe.
Yes.
o me ra fitlha kwa boardroom ra dula
On arrival in the boardroom, we sat down, Safia sahlala.
o me ra mmotšiša ka malate a nongoma
And then we asked him about this Nongoma case. Sasiyambuza ke ngale cala kweNongoma.
In which language were you communicating with him?
Lebele bolela fulelo ifika la lena.
nna gantši ke šomiša sekgowa sezulu le sepedi
Most of the time I use English, Zulu and Sepedi. Kushuthi ke mina ikaningi ngisebenzisa isiNgisi, isiZulu neSepedi.
ebile wa ka rona mohlobo mang ife ba motswana ke bolela setswana
Well, it also depends on who you are. If you speak Tswana, I do speak Tswana.
Yes,
Kushuthi ke kuya
ke
ngokuthi-
tlhakantšha le sekgowa gape
But I also mix English in there. Umtswana ngikhulumisa isiTswana kodwa nesingisi siyangena khona la.
But regarding Mr. Ntanzi, which language did you communicate with him in?
Mawapileli Ntanzi lile la shumisha kulelo ifi.
šomiša sekgowa sezulu le sesotho le setswana
We used English, Zulu and Tswana. Sasebenzisa isingisi nesizulu nesitswana.
Yes.
o mme ke le ka mmotšiša ke ra mmotšiša nna le mohuma bena gore o tsebang ka molato wa Nongoma o wa Sethunya le go bolaya.
That is me together with the late Mabena, asked him what he knows about the murder case in Nongoma.
Yes. Regarding this matter, what happened?
Le gona re ile ra mmotšiša le ona gore go na le tlhodi e re boditseng gore wa amega gape go molatong wa nao.
We informed him that there was an informer who had informed us that he is involved in this case. Samchazela-ke nokuthi kukhona wasethulela ulwazi ukuthi uyathiketeka kulolu daba.
Yes.
O me ke ile ka mmotšiša ga rena o ba le kae ka 26 tša October 2014 ge Senzomoyo a bolaiwa.
26 October
2014.
We asked him where he was on the 26th of October 2014 when the deceased was killed. Sambuza ukuthi wayelaphi-ke ngomhla 26 10 eminyangeni ka-October 2014 mhlazane umufi ebulawa.
Gomme o ba a tseba ka lona letšatši le la bolaiwa ga Senzomoyo.
He did know about the date of the death of Senzomoyo. Wayazi ngosuku lokwazi lokubulawa ka Senzomoyo.
Ka gore no ke taba e le gore be le mo di radio le di TV ka mokgatlhalotšeng ga ona o e tseba bjalo.
He claimed that he knows about this case because it was all over the news. Wathi-ke wazi ngalokubulawa ka Senzomoyo ngoba kwakusemaphephandabeni nakumabonakude nako konke.
Yes.
Alo ke mmotšiša nna ka gore wa amega mo go mogononelwa mo molatong o bo le kae ka tšatši leo la 26 October 2014.
Well, when I told him that he is a suspect in this case, I asked him where he was on the 26th of 2014. Ngase ngambuza ukuthi lo bange sangathi yathinteka kulolu daba wayelaphi ngomhla 26/10/14.
O ile a re ene ba le mošomong kwa Sibanye Still Water Mine kwa Western area.
He claimed to have been at the Sibanye Still Water Mine in Western area. Wathi-ke yena hayi wayesemayini emsebenzini eSibanye Water Mine ese-Western area.
Yes.
Bjale ke ile ka mmotšiša gore na a ka kgona gore iša gona mo ba šoma gona mo mining re ile kgontiša gore ka nnete o ba le mmerekong.
When we asked him if he could take us to the mines to go and verify that indeed he was on duty on that specific day at the mine. Sasimcela ukuthi angasatha yena sise emayini ukuthi siyothola isiqiniseko sokuthi ngempela wayekhona emayini esebenza ngalelo langa.
Yes.
O ile a dumela gore o tla re iša sankagana.
He agreed to take us there. He did not refuse. Wavuma ukuthi uzosithatha sise khona lapha akazange aphike.
Yes.
Gomme ka letšatši le šetše le subetše bjale bona gore tsela e la kwa le yona a e sepela ke bošego gore a re no re tla tsoga go sasa ka re 18 re ya le yena.
Since it was late in the day and we felt that we could not drive on that road going there, we felt that we told him that we're going to fetch him the following day to go there with him. Ngoba-ke kwasekuhlwile futhi-ke sibona ukuthi leya ndlela engeke sikwazi ukuyihamba. Sasisithi-ke okungcono simtshela ukuthi sizomlanda ngelanga elilandelayo.
Yes.
Gomme ka letšatši le latelago
Just before that, yes, sorry. You just interpreted.
Sasisimtshela ukuthi sizomlanda ngelanga elilandelayo.
Yes. And what happened to Mr. Ntanzi?
Wasebenzana kaningi ngoba Mntanzi.
no o birile ra mtšala mošetša beke diseleng.
We then took him back to the cell. Sasimthatha simbuyisele emaseleni.
Was an entry made regarding that fact?
Go na le mo ba ngwadileng gore le mošeditše morago.
Go gona.
Yes, there is an entry. Khona ila kubhalwe khona.
Yes. It's on page 4, my lord, of Exhibit MM. Can you read the relevant entry?
Sicela usibhekeleke usifundele konke ke le ndawo la kubhalwe khona uba le moba mwanne hore usho mrago.
Serial number 498.
The serial number is 498.
Kana Corneli 1955.
The time was 1955.
Investigation back.
It is also written there, investigation back.
In which Detective Sergeant Mohan of National Cold Case Unit
Ukubhalwe ukuthi Detective Sergeant Mokhane was a National Cold Case Unit.
on Longoma case 160 of 10. I was also Porsche Dirling Rape instead of 2018, which is 2020.
With the actual case number, there is still a mistake here because it's still written in as 2020.
On which Bongani Tanzi cell number, serial number, yes, Vocha, number, yes, Vocha is Alona, 64 of 10, 2020.
And he wrote the name and of the number, his arrest number, which is 64 of 10 of 2020.
Book back without injuries, correctly handed, and then sign it.
At the bottom is written booked back with no injuries, and then also it is written that he was brought back properly, correctly, and then the sergeant signed as well. Futhi kwase kuyasho ukuthi ubuyiswe kahle wayeseke uyasayina uSayintsheni.
Yes.
Okay, well, Luana Bekisala Fonela Brigadier Gininda Raperno, Munno Mdimo, Dumela Orisha Mabashumahon.
I then called Brigadier Gininda again and informed him that the suspect had agreed to take us where he claimed he was working. Singamtshela uSergeant Gininda ukuthi cha lento ivumile ukuthi ngastatistise la esenza khona.
Rilera Lorobala Sasagawana Garika Labubedi 2020 0680.
We went home and the following day, which was the
18th of June.
It was on the 18th of June 2020.
Yes.
Omega fitla kwa diselen rape
I arrived again in the cells ngafika futhi emaseleni
nearly 8:15 serial number 520.
The time was 8:15 and the serial number was 520.
Investigation out.
And it's also written there as well, investigation out. You should kubhaliwe futhi ukuthi yakishwa nangumuntu ukuyokwenza uphe.
Akivoni Asuna advocate on lately
I'm unable to see, it is a bit illegible for me to read.
Would this be an appropriate time to take the short adjournment?
Again for 15 minutes.